Hello and welcome to Friday on Men of the Den. My name's Eric and it's Friday. One of these days I'll get used to doing these live intros. Hi everybody, it's good to be back with you here in beautiful overcast Portland on Friday afternoon for Viewers Choice Week. And this week I am sitting in my car because it's the quietest place in the house, outside of the house. To talk about LGBT participation in sports. I myself am not a particularly sporty person, but I have gotten involved in a lot of rugby activity over the last few years because of my husband's participation in it. And I learned a lot, actually, from that. So I want to spend a few minutes today to talk a little bit about LGBT participation in sports. And here we go. One of the things that's kind of a common question is like, why are there gay teams? Why do gay teams exist? And why does LGBT participation kind of like shuffle itself off into like pocketed participation, where it's gay teams playing gay teams and that's the thing. And, you know, as an older person, as someone in my 40s, you know, when I was in school, I was the outcast and I was not somebody who was picked to be on teams. And that was pretty common experience for a lot of queer kids or queer presenting kids. The butcher, more masculine kids in our school just wouldn't select us. And so we kind of got shutting it off to the side in the first place. That seems to maybe be less the case these days, but I think that there's still a lot of people who wind up in that position. So a lot of amateur teams that are gay-specific, gay-focused kind of grew up out of this this desire to play, this want and need to play, but having been kind of shut out, they had to learn and start from scratch. And so jumping right into general amateur team play was never really going to work because there was a big learning curve for a lot of people. So gay amateur teams formed. They learned from each other, as we did in many other respects. And gay team participation in sports kind of became its own niche thing. And this has been going on for like 30 years. One of the things that I learned is that the North American Gay Amateur Athletic Alliance, which runs the Gay Softball World Series, has been going since 1977. So there has been a need and a desire for LGBT participation in sports forever. And, you know, I mean, this shutout, you know, among gay people, it hasn't necessarily just stopped with like, you know, elementary school, middle school, high school stuff. I mean, this goes on into college and professional play as well. I mean, we still see today gay professional athletes being shut out of play. I mean, Michael Sam is like a big obvious signpost of that, is that, you know, he came out, he got drafted for basically one season and then just got booted and has never been playing since. And, you know, so there's always been this kind of like, oh, are there gay people in sports? Are there gay people in professional sports? Well, if they are, they're in the closet. And if they're out, then they get ousted. So professional sports is still kind of a barrier, but amateur sports, especially for gay people, queer people, just exploded in popularity. And, you know, there are kind of echoes and repercussions of this coming out in other, in professional ways through organized programs like the You Can Play program through the National Hockey League. But let me get back to amateur sports. Amateur sports, like I said, blew up in popularity. The Gay Softball World Series, which has been going for like 40 some years now, has currently about 46 North American teams participating in it. I mean, that's huge. That is an enormous amount of players. Enormous amount of teams. And the Bingham Cup, which I have been to 3 of those in my lifetime, the Bingham Cup has been going since 2002. And IGR just accepted their 72nd team into the ranks of full-fledged membership in the international gay rugby community. So, I mean, and the Bingham Cup that's happening in 2018 has the largest amount of signups so far, with 50 teams from around the world participating. And it's actually the largest rugby tournament in the world. So gay players are nothing to be trifled with. I mean, we have gay players who really want to be involved, and they will stop at no end to be included, to the point of even making their own teams, making our own teams. So if you are interested in playing sports, there are a lot of opportunities. When I was in DC, I had the opportunity to go to the Team DC recruitment night for all of the gay sports teams in the city. Now, DC is a very gay city. Is an extremely high per capita queer population, but that event was like unbelievably huge. They had people who were like kayaking competitors, and they had like people, flag football, soccer, hockey, field hockey, softball, every kind of sport you could possibly think of had some kind of LGBT representative contingent at the Team DC meetup. I mean, that is crazy huge, and it filled this building like 4 floors of active recruiters for all these teams. And it was just insane. And that was, when I was there, I was helping to recruit for Washington Scandals rugby in our first year. And I got to meet like so many amazing people, and it was absolutely incredible. But the fact that there are so many opportunities out there, and DC is not alone in this. I mean, major urban cities have tons and tons and tons of avenues for LGBT play in sports. So if you're thinking about playing a sport, get out there, go hunt down and see if you can find a gay amateur sports group for your preferred sport. And if not, feel free to start one. I mean, like, one of the things that we did in DC is we started a team in DC. We started a team in Baltimore. We're starting a team in Vancouver, BC now, or not Vancouver, BC, Vancouver, Washington, right now. There are tons of opportunities, and if there aren't opportunities for you, you can make them. They are just waiting to be uncovered. I'm going to try and put some links to some organizations so that you can go out and find LGBT sports activities for yourself. And if you're interested in the Bingham Cup, it's going to be in Amsterdam this year. I wish that I had the money and the wherewithal to get there, because like going to my 4th Bingham and going to Amsterdam would just be like incredible. I'm like super excited to see this happen. But if you get the opportunity, they very rarely have spectators at these events. Like, please go watch it. Go to the Bingham Cup. I strongly encourage it. It's a ton of fun. There's thousands of guys from around the world. It's a great experience. Please go do that. And to those of you who think that maybe you can't do it, I'm here to tell you that you can. There's a place for you to play in sports, regardless of your sexual orientation or your gender identity. Gender identity can be a big barrier for some people and for some teams, but there are a ton of accepting teams out there. There are a ton of inclusive teams, and there are people who are trying to pave the way to make trans inclusivity in sports a real thing. So if you are trans and you're interested in playing, please go out and give it a shot. And feel free to petition those sports teams that you're interested in to try to make more trans inclusive policies if they don't have them. So yes, you can play. I love that message from the NHL. Then that's the one thing that, they are capitalizing on queer spectators. So, but I think it's a great message. You can play. If you are LGBT, there's nothing stopping you from participating in sports. Go out there and do it. All right, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please give me a thumbs up. If you want to learn more about queer participation in sports, I'm going to put some links down in the crotch as soon as I get back into the house and this video processes. And I will see you all next Friday. Cheers.